Coming to you live from the commanding officer's office, sirs. This is the Best Care Anywhere podcast. I am your officer of the day, Anthony. With me, as always, my adjutant. We are intimate with each other at all times. He is a symphony in coordination. Ethan Wilson.
Yes, but please, first, let me slip into something more secular.
Oh, God damn it. Hello, Ethan. You are returned to the land of corn from your many travels.
Yep, from my rambles across the woods and plains, I am back because the Nebraska State Troopers, the potholes of Wyoming, the vast nothingness of Nevada, and the Mormons in Utah could not fucking stop me.
You actively avoided a law enforcement officer. I love
Oh,
that.
yeah, I forgot I sent that to you. Okay, first of all, I was minding my own business.
Man, I'd say no, you weren't, but god damn it, if you have not been pulled over more than any human I've ever known, at this point, if I don't get pulled over once on my cross-country road trip, then you are absolutely, you have a case to go to like the Department of Justice for like harassment. Like
Actually,
something.
that's a
Like
see here.
why? You need federal level investigators to be like, why the fuck am I getting pulled over so much? Clearly something about you is setting up, like lighting up the switchboard of everything that law enforcement officers are taught, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, neither do I because you know, I
The
I'm not
only
a
the
no, go ahead.
only theory that you have brought forward that makes any sense is maybe they think you're running weed from Colorado, and it's those like the Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming states that are like, man, weed's scary. Like, just
Well,
profile you for being a younger male alone in a four-door car, but like,
in all fairness, I absolutely was running weed, but it wasn't for sale. It was for social commentary reasons, and this is a joke, and I am being just a wacky little
it
guy.
is just
And
satire.
am I joking? I don't know anymore. See, being pulled over.
Careful, depending on who's president, the Comstock Act's going to get back in effect, and interstate commerce is going to have you fucked, my friend.
Yeah, well, if you can call my 25-hour caffeine-fueled dashes 1,700 miles from the corn to the coast interstate commerce, then
Corn to the
you
coast.
then you have a career in politics, my friend. But as for
Hey,
me,
long distance drivers, fuck the cannonball. You're now doing corn to coast. That's the new.
seriously, when I'm behind the wheel and the music has kind of gotten boring, you can't listen to any more books. You just sort of sit there with your thoughts. I have to remember that the Cannonball Run current record, as far as I know, is under 24 hours.
That's
Like
insane.
from New York
Like,
to
are they
LA.
swapping? Is it a team of drivers or is it one dude?
It is it from what I hear, it is usually three people in a car. But I think the most recent one, or at least the most recent one I know of, was one guy who rented a Mustang during COVID, mind you, so the roads were empty. Rented a Mustang, put an extra fuel cell in the trunk, so he had like double the fuel capacity and made it
Mm-hmm.
in under 24 hours. But you still have to think that he is averaging like 140 miles an hour across the
That's
country, and
insane.
that includes fuel stops.
Did I ever show you the thing? One of the things that got me like hooked on wanting to do a road trip, the video explaining America's first road trip. Two
Um.
dudes in a Winton touring car from
Oh
San
yes.
Francisco to New York in an era where anything east of the Sierras and west of the Mississippi basically had no roads. It was
What? Who made that video? Because it was a great
that
video.
is that is a alternate history hub
That
video,
is an alternate history hub video,
and
guys.
the
Go check it
guy's
out.
name is Horatio Nelson. I swear to God.
You think
The
his
the
friends
the
call them
Winton
whore for short?
No. The
Oh,
Winton touring car is on display, I think, in the Smithsonian, along with the taxidermied pit bull who wore like driving goggles and a leather helmet and was like, everyone's like, wow, a car, we've never seen that before, but look at this dog.
yep. Because
uh
even back in the 1910s or 20s, whenever the fuck it was, people had their priorities in order.
mhm. Oh, this is like I want to say this is like 1910s, and people were so astonished, like they heard a car was coming through their town, the first one they would have ever seen, and the rumors were like it's gonna do 90 miles an hour, and if it goes by you too close, it'll suck a women's ovaries right out, like all sorts of crazy shit.
Oh God, think of our vapors.
Oh God, no vapors. We're doing the tangent thing again, Ethan.
We're gonna
Um,
do that a lot this 26-minute, 8-second episode of MASH.
oh God.
Does that ever strike you when you're editing these podcasts that are routinely an hour and a
That
half?
we talk for almost 4 to 5 times longer than the episode is actually long. Yes, it does.
How do we have an audience again?
I don't know, Ethan, but we have a new Patreon supporter that we're going to shout out later. So
God damn it.
and people are buying t-shirts. So I don't know. Late stage capitalism is fucking wild. But I went canoe camping, which was fucking awesome.
And I haven't had a chance to hear about it, and I'm kind of
We've
bummed
literally
because
been
it
like
looked good.
I'm getting off right when you're getting on, because heavens to Murgatroyd, I have a fucking regular ass sleep schedule this week, and I'm trying to keep that going.
Fuck you, fuck you.
I know. I have a regular sleep schedule, says the host of the podcast that the poor Kansan is doing at 9:40 at night. No,
I try not to think about it.
The canoe camping trip was awesome. We had this is the same one we did last year for anyone who has been listening to the podcast for a while, and we had like 3 times as many people go, so it was bitchin'. Yeah, nothing much more than that to report. Live spin. The weather is not hotter than balls. My parents got a new washing machine that is like, I feel like I should be able to yell at it, and it serves me an Earl Grey tea hot. I can control it from my phone. The future is here. It is not AI. It does not talk to me yet. But the lights on the front are purple and blue, so we do know it is bisexual. So there's that.
You know what? Good for it.
Which is even funnier now that I'm thinking about it, because it's a combination washer and dryer in one machine. That shouldn't be funny, but it is. So yeah, life is good. Life is good. Ethan.
Yeah.
You're gonna be angry with me, but you were traveling and I were traveling, so that's my excuse. We have fan mail.
Oh my fucking God, why?
I don't know. We had no fan mail, and then all of a sudden we have a bunch of fan mail. This email comes from Mr. Brian, and he paid me off, so I won't read his email live on air. So
Coward.
good for that. No, Brian wrote and said he'll try to keep this short. You don't have to. You are more than welcome to use up all of my time and Ethan's time, because clearly, based on the timestamp of this episode, we use up yours. My name is Brian. I live in a small town in Ohio. Sorry, that's 35 miles from Toledo. I was born the same year MASH went off the air, but grew up watching reruns with my dad. Okay, I'm sorry. I read this email before, but I started to read this next sentence and I almost shit myself, and then realized, wait, I know the rest of the sentence. I knew Jamie Farr was really from Toledo, but I still thought it was cool he would talk about real things and places from the area, like Tony Pacos and the Mudhens. I watched the show. I haven't watched the show in a while, but about this time last month, I was at the Mudhens game where they celebrated Farr's 90th birthday and decided it had been too long and started from the beginning. Being an avid podcast listener, I started looking to see if there were any MASH podcasts and came across yours. Having the luxury of being able to listen while I work, I binged listened over the past 3 weeks. Jesus Christ.
Average Berkey, Ohio resident, honestly.
Man has been listening to us nonstop for 3 weeks. Sir, are you okay? Do you need help? There is a hotline we can give you.
Also, just to be clear,
if you or a loved one has suffered from Ethan and Anthony, please dial the number below. You may be entitled to compensation.
You know, it's funny. One of my exes sent me a letter very much to that effect not too long ago.
No. I've binge listened over the past 3 weeks and always enjoyed your analysis and tangents, especially as a former Boy Scout myself. Love the camp stories. Before I ramble too much, I want to say thank you for the entertainment and look forward to sending my episode ratings to Sincerely Brian. Brian, thank you.
Just because you're in Swanton, Ohio doesn't mean you're safe.
He did not wait. He did not say what town he's from.
I know, but wouldn't that be hilarious if I just guessed?
There's like a 1 in 1,000 chance you just made Brian shit himself. Kansas is closer to Ohio than California. Be afraid, Brian. Um, we also have a tiny bit of fan mail from the direct text line uh, from Kingsford, Wisconsin. Sorry, this is from, I believe, Private Stuart Boyles. Uh, he says, regarding George, I know we talked about George a while ago. Sorry, a whole group of motorcyclists rode by the shop. Regarding George, I know we watched George a while ago, but this pointed out something that we were asking about. Uh, Regarding George and if the scenes with Hawkeye were intentional. Remember, like the nail painting scene or some of the scenes where Hawkeye's not effeminate, but he's doing things that would not be considered, quote, manly, unquote.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, like he was painting the nurse's nails. He was kind of making wry jokes to Radar that he would paint his too if he wanted, you know. Uh, Private Stuart Boyles thinks, yes, those were intentional. When a script is written and performed, you find ways of telling the story outside the dialogue. That's one of the things he loves about theater and film. So he thinks that because of the context of the episode, those scenes were very much intentionally put in there to kind of put you in a certain mindset. So I don't
I'm
disagree.
willing no, I'm willing to believe that because it lends some credibility to our many tangents. It means that, we can get away with it a little more, so
Excellent. I absolutely don't have a 20-minute tirade about the flag ceremony at the beginning of this episode. On that note, do you have anything else to add, Ethan, before we get into this episode?
just that
Any
the
musings?
Nebraska state troopers will never get me because their state is a shithole. And as a Kansan, I suppose my first hatred is supposed to be Missouri, but it's not. Nebraskans are heathens, and
You ever notice how Missouri has two major cities, and if you look at a map, it looks like they're both trying to escape?
I'm stealing that. No, I'm sorry. This is
I've said this before. I do want to visit Missouri, if only to drive past the 40 acres that was purchased by the Whitmores when they came from Germany. They literally they landed in New Orleans and took a riverboat up the Mississippi and then a wagon out from uh St. Louis out to the Jefferson River and
that is really cool.
just it is very cool. And I can see from the hand-drawn maps or like the census records and looking at a map today, I can see the outline of the homestead in the fields that have now been like split up, and like the tree lines that exist, you can tell like, oh, that's the old property line. It's very cool.
Could I make one more musing before we continue down this fucking
I
episode?
absolutely, the audience has a skip 15 seconds button for a reason, Ethan. Go.
So I recently abandoned all of my morals and started a Twitter account just so I could
That's right.
look at the Best Care Anywhere Twitter account.
Is this an incognito Twitter or is this a
I
known Twitter?
I mean, it can be known. It's my name. I just haven't set it up because I only got it for
Ah,
the Best Care. But I'm looking at this lightsaber kills fascists
oh
August
no.
12th post
Oh no.
of the kimono dragon t-shirt.
Yes.
And I don't think you understand how surreal it is to me because if I remember correctly, I drew that fucking atrocious pun hungover out of my mind in the middle of a
Like 2.5 years ago. Yeah,
yeah. So, and now it's on a t-shirt. Like it's
this is true.
I don't know what to do. Anyway, we can
On that
continue.
on that note, last thing before we get to the episode, if you want to reach out to us, obviously Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the places that you see us post, but also bestcareanywherepod@gmail.com if you have a little bit longer form of a message that you want to send us. I will say you can also direct message us on Twitter if you choose. Uh, but I find that email's a little easier because you have the actual writing tools at your disposal. Also, if you are listening to this episode right now on your phone, grab your phone, open your podcast app, scroll down the description of the podcast, and you will see a tap this link to send us a message, and you can text us directly from your phone if you have a thought you wish to share with us mid podcast. You don't have to try to remember it for later. You can just shoot it off to us. and we will try to get to it in the next episode. Also, this podcast is sponsored by you. Yes, you listening. Uh, People who some of our fans have been very awesome and have bought some of the merch we released over at the Spreadshirt. Link for that is also in the description below. There are a couple more uh, ideas for designs that I'm going to try to work on in the next month or so, two of which I need to get done before a very important date in November so that they are timely. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So, on that note, keep an eye on the Twitter post. We might be asking for help with one of those. But enough teasing. Go check those links out, message us, say hello, and all that jazz. With that being said, Ethan, are you ready for season 3, episode 3, Officer of the Day?
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right, Officer of the Day was written by Laurence Marks and directed by, you'll never guess, Ethan.
I
Hi,
will never guess.
hi, Averback. We said it last episode. This is the Averback season. So he is a bit of a mixed bag as we discussed, but I think this is one of those uh the higher end of the high Averback episodes.
The higher end. Did we unilaterally decide that's how we pronounce that name?
I think it is high Averback. I think
Okay.
HY is high. I think if it were hay, there would be another vowel in there.
Well, he's since gone on to his reward, right?
I believe so.
Okay, good. So there's no one to contradict
Unless
us.
he was writing these episodes at like the age of 18 or something. But
Not
this
impossible.
this aired September 24th, 1974, and I will also add an extra fun fact. This is one of Jamie Farr's 2 favorite episodes of the show. Which is funny because the other one of his favorites we will get to watch here later in the season. So
Really?
yes,
Good season.
which is shocking because I'm thinking of a lot of episodes that, again, I don't think an actor has to like episodes where their character features prominently. I can think of a lot of great Klinger episodes that are later in the show's run. But yeah, his 2 favorite episodes are both in season 3, and this is one of them. So we open on a flag ceremony, and as far as I can tell, the flags are the right way up and on the pole and all historically correct. So good. I lied earlier. I do not have a 20-minute flag rant. That will come later. But we see that the the retreat of the colors. Now, this is something that Ethan and I have experience with. Uh, a lot of times people will call this retiring the flag. This is not retiring. This is retreat or retrieval. Um, this is not retiring. Retiring is an entirely different kettle of fish, which I'm curious, Ethan, how many what percentage of average Americans do you think have actually witnessed a proper flag retirement ceremony?
It's seriously, it's got to be less than 10%.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
it's not a thing that's like you can carry a flag in a parade, you can present a flag like on a football field, right? But the
like,
retiring of a flag is a completely different thing. And for those of you that have never witnessed the retiring of a flag, I would say it's probably around 10% because you have to assume a military those in the military have probably are at least familiar with a flag retirement ceremony if they haven't even actually seen one. For those of you who have not seen or heard of a flag retirement ceremony, US flag code determines what you should do with a flag that is no longer fitting for display. And one of the ways you can respectfully dispose of a flag is by burning. And I don't mean like lighting it on fire and waving it around like you're at a, anti-Vietnam War protest. It is respectfully displayed for the last time, folded gently into the fire, and saluted and rendered honor while it burns completely till it is unrecognizable. And as I'm sure you all have guessed, there are a very few select group of organizations allowed to perform that ceremony, and guess what one of them is? That's
uh,
right. The no, I was gonna say something ridiculous like uh
the March of
the
Dimes.
March of Dimes. No, I believe all the military forces, police and fire, and the scouting organizations can retire a U.S. flag. If it is done well, it is a very moving ceremony. If even if it is not done well, it should always be done respectfully. But I say all that to say this is not a flag retirement. This is a retreat. You are bringing the colors down for the day. I don't know why I felt necessary to go on that tangent, but I did. So, how would you rate this flag ceremony, Ethan?
You know what? I'm biased because I'm a former bugler, as I've made very clear on this
Oh
podcast.
yeah.
However, I have to say that American flag went down a little quicker than the other ones. You know,
Yep, American flag should be first up, last down. This is true. But also, I believe, and I don't know what the rules of this are. It is an American military post, but it is on foreign soil, and they are representing the UN. I'm wondering if they were intended to be brought down evenly. But I don't know. I
nope.
don't know if
America number one.
American number one
USA,
exactly. I
USA.
will say what you want about Radar's bugling. He
I
is
will.
dressed for success. Like he's tucked, he is trimmed. Radar's like, and it's probably because Frank's being a pip, but Radar is looking rather spiffy in the beginning part of this episode. Shirt tucked, belt. His gig line is looking pretty good. Uh, Uniform is clean, which is a rarity for Radar. You know what? I'm I'm proud of my man here. He is putting in effort. We then see it's such an iconic image. It is in fact his IMDb, the first image on his IMDb page. We have seen Jeff Maxwell before, but Mike Jameson, this lightsaber kills fascists, did point out to us this is Jeff Maxwell's first credited appearance as Private Igor Straminsky. He is the one operating the cannon. If I may, Ethan, may I tell you a little bit about Jeff Maxwell? Since we are going to see this episode has a lot of the recurring secondary and background cast, so I wanted to kind of highlight them if you would allow me.
I might.
All right, we'll wait for you to decide. Please take
Okay.
all the information, all the time you need to make a very, uh
Okay. Fine. You win.
okay, cool. No, so Jeff Maxwell, Private Igor, also very well known, as everyone listening to this podcast should know. He is, half of the dynamic duo that hosts the, Mash Matters podcast. He hosted along with Ryan Patrick. A couple keynotes that I did not know about Jeff until reading his IMDb bio. He had a comedy team with a friend of his called Garrett and Maxwell. Uh, they went on to perform with such classic entertainers as the Smothers Brothers, Red Fox, Flip Wilson, Kenny Loggins, and Robin Williams.
God damn.
Yeah. Wow. That's if I have so many reasons I want to talk to Jeff Maxwell now. One, MASH. Two, if you worked with Robin Williams, tell me everything. I don't care if you were in the room with him for 3 minutes. I want to know every second of that. Uh, went on to, Jeff became a studio executive for the casting department of 20th Century Fox, but he missed an audience. Jeff traded his executive suit for a uniform and was destined to become a an extra on the most watched show in television history. For 9 years, Jeff played the role of Private Igor, the beleaguered mess tent cook on the iconic series MASH. Uh, he would go on to star in a couple of films, produced and wrote and directed numerous corporate videos, uh, including drug awareness programs, etc., etc.
Oh, I'm
Um,
very aware of drugs.
he wrote a book called Secrets of the Mash Mess, The Lost Recipes of Private Igor, which I own. I have yet to cook a recipe from it, though. I'm trying to pick a good one to start with. Creamed weenies is a strong contender. Um, but yeah, he at the very end of his biography, and it says this bio was written by Mash Matter, so I'm wondering if this part was written by Jeff Maxwell himself. A golfer, avid skier. He is a golfer, avid skier, and a Los Angeles resident. Jeff's goal is to eventually move to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and ski until he drops over in the snow. Hell yeah. So yeah, Private Igor. We will see a lot of Private Igor. He will be with the show regularly. You will recognize him if you don't already in the background. He will be in the rest of the seasons all the way through to the end. So welcome Jeff Maxwell officially. He was in season 2 a lot, but he was kind of more in the background. So, with that excellent credited introduction, he fires the ceremonious salute at Frank's order, knocking this effect is wonderful. I don't know how exactly they did it, but clearly the cannon goes off and you hear a clang and you realize that he shot the bugle out of Radar's hand. Now, I have several problems with this, Ethan.
Please.
Why was there a actual shell in that cannon? Number 1. Number 2, why do they have a cannon? And number 3, I don't care how in trouble you're going to get with Major Burns. I would not fire a cannon at my comrade for any reason.
It's just such a funny
It's
fucking
so
scene.
stupid. And I love how angry Gary Berghoff gets. You, woo, woo! He just starts making noise.
So the only thing I can think is I was wondering if it wasn't like a blank round because I know blanks still have
Like a
ener-
paper wad.
a paper wad energy to them. Like blank rounds and pistols are still lethal at immediate range.
Yeah.
Which is a lesson not enough people know, and many people have paid the price from. So that is
Mhm.
sort of my hope. I doubt it, but
I love the poor guy just picking Radar up by his waist, like, just stop.
is that one of those? Is that one of those foreign military uniforms we were
You
talking
know,
about last episode?
the khaki uniform with the beret, that might be a Commonwealth soldier, yeah, British or otherwise.
I was gonna
Hard to
guess
say.
Australian, but that is
Maybe
just a guess.
Australian. It's the nice thing is it's vague enough that it doesn't like, they can make it vague enough to where they don't have to perfectly emulate someone's uniform, but also it's different from the MASH unit, the green we see at the MASH unit, so we know, like, "Oh, that's not a normal person." No offense to the Australians, you're normal-ish. Um,
Eh,
so, uh, Radar calls the company to order arms, and Frank gives a little speech that Henry is away. He and his adjutant, Major Houlihan, have been in charge. Uh, if there are any problems, he should talk to him. And they fall in for inspection. I will say this, of all the times we've seen Frank handle firearms, I have nothing bad to say, save for one thing,
is
about
it?
Frank's handling of firearms
I have a
in
few bad
this.
things to say.
So let's run through and see if I can't throw my boy Frank a bone here. So he's going through, he's inspecting. You can tell he doesn't really know what he's looking for, but he's trying to make an effort because he's in charge. He disciplines one soldier for having, quote, heavy beard in a combat zone, which is laughable. And the third soldier in line, he takes the M1 Garand, the most perfect battle implement ever devised, quote, an American general from the start of World War II. Uh, he, I will say this, and I know what's the thing you're going to point out that he does inappropriate, other than his thumb, because that's obvious.
Oh, that was it.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
Well,
I'll,
that and I will always inherently take issue with him looking down the barrel of the gun the way he does.
True, except he is inspecting for cleanliness, and without field stripping the M1, that is the way to check, is the bore clear and clean? And I will give Frank credit. Do you know what he does immediately before that?
He clears the rifle.
He does inspect the action and confirm it is clear. So, if you must look down the bore of the rifle for any reason, you must ensure that it is clear. And I do not believe, yeah, all those actions are open. No clips or no clips are in it. So you know what? Not recommended practice, but if you're going to do it, Frank did do it in the safest manner possible.
And then he gives himself grand thumb.
And then he gives himself a Grantham, which I have never owned or operated an M1. It is one of my many goals to own an M1 Garand. I think they are beautiful rifles. I think they are to me, and again, I know this is a weird tangent to go on given what Hawkeye is going to say in about a minute. The M1 Garand to me is so special because growing up it was the gun that the guys who went and fought in World War II had, and to me, that was like their Excalibur, their Captain America shield, right? Like, the M1 Garand to me was so cool because it's like it's what the veterans use. It's what those old guys who went and landed at D-Day and went to Iwo Jima, that's what they use, and it's wood, and it's got that distinctive sound to like, the M1 Garand. I appreciate that there are some people in our audience that aren't gun people, but the M1 Garand is both from a nostalgia standpoint for me and a historical standpoint, and from a engineering of firearms standpoint, it is such a wonderful firearm to me. And I've gotten to hold one. I have not gotten to shoot one. I would very much love to. So yeah. And part of the thing with the Garand is when you push down. So the M1 Garand has an 8 round clip that you push down into the action. You have to, and I am not. This is from memory, not from actual doing. So if anyone wants to correct me, please do politely. But when you push that magazine down far enough, it releases the slide. You should be doing this while holding the bolt, the little lever on the side of the bolt so it doesn't slam forward on your thumb, or do it in such a way that you can clear your thumb out of the way. But it is very common. I say very, it is common enough that it is in the manual, the later manuals for the M1, that you have to be careful to clear your thumb out of the way because the spring that is pushing that heavy bolt forward is fairly strong, and it will pinch at your finger and give you a very nasty crushed bruise on your thumb. And again, there are some people that say, "Oh, Garand thumb's not as big a deal as everyone makes it out to be." There are other people that say it hurts like a son of a bitch. I have absolutely pinched my thumb in a semi-automatic firearm before. If you're not, depending on how your thumb's angled, it can get you in that soft fleshy part, or right on the you know where it gets you that's really painful is on the edge of the thumb right next to the nail bed. Not the soft fleshy part, but
Yeah.
not the nail itself. Ooh, that's where it's thin enough skin that it just So, I do feel a little bad for Frank. It's more of a he has not handled that rifle professionally, so he is showing his ineptitude by closing his thumb in a rifle that he's not even actively trying to load. So, again, for all the gun things Frank does in this show, this scene is actually not that bad, in my opinion. Uh, hey, look, I just realized. And I'll mention it in a second, but I just realized something. But yeah, Frank's fine. We then see that he goes and inspects the next soldier, which is Klinger, and this is what I love about Klinger through the entirety of the series. Klinger is arguably one of the best soldiers in the unit. He is in uniform, he is at attention, he is very squared away, but god damn it, if he's wearing what is he wearing? He's wearing earrings that look like bushels of bananas. He is
Oh,
wearing
Mr. Tallyman.
a matching ring and Flame d'Amour nail
Love
polish.
Love's Flame? Burning Love.
Yes.
Ooh, Burning
Uh
Love.
yeah, the flame of love is, I believe, what it's getting
Yeah,
at.
but Burning Love is a Elvis song. So,
Yes. I love that Frank says, nail polish, flame d'amour, sir. And earrings, they match the ring, sir. I am a symphony in coordination. He's so serious. That's the thing that I love about Klinger is he will do all this ridiculous shit, but he is dead serious
you,
about it.
you, I would pay so much money for like a prequel to MASH where Klinger is going through boot camp
Oh
because
my god.
you know in universe he was absolutely still trying to get expelled and there's some drill sergeant trying to whip him into shape.
Well, you
and
remember
he's
we get great Klinger lore throughout the series. You remember Deal Me Out where he's like explaining that they had to spend like $7 in nickels to get him out of
yeah,
a
to
toilet.
get him out of a toilet at the train station.
Oh. So Frank puts Klinger on report. He wants all the dresses burned. Uh uh to which Klinger says a man has a right to his own trousseau, which is insanity. Uh They dismiss the camp, but not before announcing that today's officer of the day is Captain Benjamin Franklin Pierce. Uh, and I looked this up a little bit. Officer of the day is essentially the commanding officer can't be on duty 24/7, obviously. So it's basically you're in charge. You're SPL for 12 hours. You are the voice of the unit in matters relating to army business, so long as it's not too serious. So that's why we see. I think so. This would be the end of the day. This is probably like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Even though it's clearly middle of the day that they're filming this. So Hawkeye would be on the hook, so to speak, overnight, or for the rest of the evening at the very least, to be the camp's essentially acting commanding officer, unless Frank needed to get involved. So Frank goes in, sees that Hawkeye is sleeping, wakes him up. Uh, he just came off 14 hours in OR. Frank does not care at all. Uh, Drags Hawkeye up out of bed, explains he's officer of the day. But not before Hawkeye explains the strange dream he was having, where he was walking along the beach with his mother and he saw a giant, bleached out Frank Burns lying on the sand. Its white belly shining in the sun. And I said, Mommy, can I touch it? And she said, Be careful, son. The dullness rubs off.
But
Be happy that's not how I introduced you for this episode. I thought about it.
you can call me a lot of things, and a lot of them would be correct. But I am not dull.
No, you are not.
Stupid, possibly. Irresponsible, absolutely. Man whore, it depends on the
Mm,
day. Dull.
dull, you are not, Ethan. So Frank explains you are officer of the day. Here is your belt, holster, and sidearm. He also says, and I would love to see this, there's a sash and sword that go with it. Um,
I I don't know if I could put it on a t-shirt, but I definitely just love the aside that Trapper and Hawk have breakfast. Oh, my kidneys were expecting orange juice. Silly
silly
kidneys.
kidneys. I love it.
Ah,
That's that you could definitely make that one of those like wine mom kitchen framed posters that you get at Target. Like it's wine o'clock, but instead it's like a martini. It says my kidneys are expecting orange juice. Silly kidneys. Uh so we then get what is one of, if not the most popular, I guess soliloquy is the most appropriate term. Hawkeye gets a lot of these. We've had one or two up at before now. These little soapbox soliloquies he gets, but this is quite possibly one of the more infamous ones. I will not carry a gun, Frank. When I got into this war, I had a very clear understanding with the Pentagon: no guns. I'll carry your books, I'll carry a torch, I'll carry a tune, I'll carry on, carry over, carry Grant, cash and carry me back to old Virginia. I'll even Harry carry if you show me how, but I will not carry a gun. That sets a tone for Hawkeye for the rest of the season that is going to have some very interesting moments played off of it. But Ethan, we have had this discussion a couple times and it will come up again. Now that you've heard a more definitive stance from Hawkeye, what thinks you of his relationship with firearms?
like outside of the army,
In
his
general, yeah, in general, both in and out of the army. What do you think of his not I won't shoot a gun. I will not touch a gun.
I think working as a medic in a MASH unit and having to day in and day out stitch up gunshot wounds would
Mhm.
probably make him hate guns with a passion, especially as seriously as he takes his Hippocratic oath.
Mhm.
I have to imagine that he carried some of that with him into the army as it was.
No, 100% he came into the
But
army being not a gun person.
I think that probably his time in the MASH unit solidified that to the point that it is now.
Very true. Very true. Um Now, given the tirades we have gone on before, both mine about the M1 Garand just a moment ago, and the many numerous ones you have and will do regarding the handgun that Hawkeye is refusing to carry.
I you might be spared from one because I'm looking at it and I'm not convinced it isn't a Browning high power.
Jesus Christ! But obviously, the podcast knows we are both firearm people. I am still a registered NRA instructor, not an NRA member. Those are very different things. Um, I obviously, if you've listened to the podcast for any length of time, you know Ethan and I both like to shoot. We both own guns to varying capacities. Hell, one of us just recently bought a firearm. That being said, I respect Hawkeye's commitment to his morals. I have no issue, and I never did, even at camp. If I'd invite, I'd be talking to a group of adult leaders and scouts and say, "You guys are more than welcome to come up at the range. Here's our open time." And occasionally, I get a scout, or more often, adult leaders being like, "No, no, thank you. I don't do firearms, or I don't like shooting, or I don't like guns, or it's not for me." I am absolutely okay with that. I do not think that anyone should be forced to do something they don't want to, especially fire. Like, I get it. Firearms are scary, especially if you have any sort of history that would give you reason to hate firearms more than. I mean, there are plenty of reasons to not like firearms. They're loud, they have the potential to kill you, they have potential to kill others. People use them to kill others. Hell, their intended purpose is to kill things. I am not going to sit here as a gun owner and tell you that the invention of the firearm was for people to shoot targets. That's not that's not what firearms were invented for. That's not why bow and arrows were invented. Like, very clearly, firearms are made to kill living things, whether that's hunting or warfare. However, I enjoy shooting, I enjoy gun ownership respectfully and responsibly, and we've had that discussion and we will have it in the future. But at the end of the day, I have no problem with Hawkeye refusing to carry a firearm. This is very. I don't want to say it's similar because there's a better episode for this parallel, but it is akin to the Ethan, you're aware of the story of Desmond Doss, right?
Oh, of
Private
course. I was
Desmond Doss.
actually I was kind of wondering because he gives that little aside about the Pentagon. I wasn't sure if that was just Hawkeye doing a bit or if this was
No,
actually
I
in
don't.
universe a Desmond Doss situation.
Oh, that is. I've never considered that. Could Hawkeye have? Cause so for those of you who don't know, if you don't not aware of, is it Private or Corporal Desmond Doss? I don't want to. I believe it's Corporal Doss.
I could not say with any amount of certainty, so
Anyway,
I'm not going to guess.
Desmond Doss was a Marine who vehemently wanted to join the Marine Corps and do his part during World War II, but for religious reasons, he did not want to carry a firearm, not even a personal sidearm. This is for anyone who has seen the movie. This is Hacksaw Ridge. It's based off his story. I've seen it. It's reasonable. It's good. It's a good movie. It does his story justice. If you actually read into his time in the Pacific, the movie is a good overview. Some of the shit that man did is absolutely insane. And the movie again does it fairly well, but get the story straight from the horse's mouth. Go look up. But essentially, he was his company's medic, their corpsman. Uh, which I know there are going to be some Marines and Navy guys going, well, technically the corpsmen and for the Marines were Navy guys, but whatever. He went with his unit. He did not carry a personal firearm. His whole point was to render aid, evacuate wounded, all that jazz, without without carrying a personal firearm. I have never considered if Hawkeye applied as a conscientious objector. That is an interesting question. It's never explicitly said to my knowledge, but I would not put it past Hawkeye if he feels so vehemently against carrying a firearm, him putting in for an exemption. But at the same time, he also knows he's being drafted because of his medical credentials, and almost certainly 99.9% of the time not be expected to carry a firearm. So that is an interesting question, but yeah, I love this quote of Hawkeye. I quote it constantly. I'd even spoilers that one of the merch ideas I'm thinking of has to do with this bit of dialogue. And even though I'm a gun owner, I would ironically wear that shirt because I think it's such a good bit of writing, uh, and a good window into Hawkeye's personal beliefs. He is vehemently opposed to firearms. Um, so yeah, any further thoughts, Ethan? I kind of ranted there.
No, no. All that I would say is I am going to. Okay, I'm going to spare everyone at large this time around from a 1911 rant as much as it is due, because the more I look at it, the more I think it might really be a Browning high power. That said, I don't care how well Frank did with the M1 Grand 5 minutes ago. He just took that Browning and appendix carried it out of the holster with his trigger discipline.
Yep,
I mean, there certainly aren't any cheaper and or quicker ways to get a vasectomy, I suppose.
that is true. A 45 caliber round will absolutely do it quickly and efficiently. Uh, I do want to break down part of what Hawkeye says because when I was younger, I did not get it, but now that once I understood what he said, I'm like, that's funny, and it snuck in there, and if you don't catch it, you don't know. The last line he says is, "I'll even Harry carry if you show me how." Do you understand that line, Ethan? Because it took me up until I was probably a sophomore or junior in high school before I got it.
I sort of was under the impression that it was a callback to an old song from the 50s, because that sounds like the kind of line from an old 50s
So
song.
I thought Harry Carey was like a dance. Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
no, Ethan. No, it's even funnier than that. Especially since he asked Frank to show him first.
Uh
Harry
oh.
Carey is Japanese ritualistic suicide, the one where you stab yourself in the gut and drag it up. That's Harry Carey.
I've always heard it under a different name, but oh my
You're
god.
thinking of seppuku? Is that
Yeah,
what you're
that's
thinking?
exactly what I'm thinking of.
No, see, I should have looked this up. What's the difference between Harry Carey and sep? I think. Hang on. Watch me be
I'll even Harry carry if you show
you.
me
If
how.
you show me how. There's a great joke later in the series somewhere where Frank is going through his possessions and he's like, "Oh, this is my Harry Carey dagger," and the character says, "Great, Frank, break it in." Seppuku and Harry Carey are the same thing.
Okay.
Japanese ritualistic suicide by disembowelment.
Hmm.
Fun. We're having such a fun time. Guns, disembowelment. I feel half of our audience shaking its head, and I am so here for that.
Well,
But
I've been doing my part to alienate at least half of our audience at least every episode, so
but
you're welcome.
so yes, I will not carry a gun, Frank. Frank takes the 1911 and wanders off. Hawkeye puts the gun belt on. Trapper gives him his hat, and if I were to ever go to any event dressed as Hawkeye Pierce, it would be in this outfit. fatigue pants, boots, gun belt with with a holster but no gun, dog tags, fatigue shirt, red bathrobe, cowboy hat or like straw hat. Absolutely. I This is the image I think of when I think of Hawkeye Pierce. This is it. It is so wonderful. I would even throw on the Officer of the Day band just for fun. But on cue, Radar wanders up as Hawkeye is leaving the swamp, letting him know it's 60. What they did retreat at 4 p.m. Not even 4 p.m. Would have been like 3:30 p.m. The hell, Frank.
Um,
Anyway,
yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna chalk that up to Frank wanting to do it while he was still on shift.
very clearly, he wanted to see the cannon go off. That's the only reason he did it. He knew he would have been asleep otherwise. But uh Hawkeye's first orders is that the troops can go home. He's declaring peace and a general amnesty. Uh, he refuses to sign anything because he doesn't want the war in his name because Henry probably didn't keep up the payments. Uh, you can tell Radar is much more comfortable with Hawkeye now because he inserts his own joke like, "Well, you know, you just got to be in charge, run things, do a bed check. You're gonna want to handle that one personally."
Oh.
And then Hawkeye kind of rolls his eyes, but Radar thinks it's the funniest thing in the world.
That is the funniest thing in the world. What are you talking about?
Followed by, and Hawkeye gets them back with, "You can inspect the nurse's showers. I didn't get you a birthday present." As Hawkeye is coming on duty, the guard is also changing. Uh, Radar needs to know what password they are to be given, and Hawkeye decides to use the day's previous Betty Boop because it has sex appeal, I guess. I don't know.
You're damn
Uh,
straight it does.
the two guards, we have pointed them out before, but again, since we have so many of our extras in the episode, I will point them out again. The mustachioed one with the glasses is Dennis Troy. He will be in 27 episodes of MASH. We've seen him in a couple. He is in the background of several. Ceasefire, Love Story, Henry Please Come Home, all those. Uh, we saw him in a bunch. He was the ambulance driver that got shot in the sniper. Um,
Glad to see he's doing better now.
Yeah. He is an Officer of the Day, and he will continue to be a regular background face, along with the gentleman next to him, Roy Goldman, who we have briefly talked about. Interesting thing about Roy Goldman that I will point out to the audience. Dennis Troy is really only known for MASH and a couple other little roles before. He was a guard on Hogan's Heroes. He was a biker with Switchblade in The Takers, a film from 1971. So, like, really, that's it. The last IMDb credit he has is MASH. So, very minimum acting role, but I mean, of all the things to have a minimum acting role in, MASH is probably one of the better ones. And on that note, the gentleman next to him is Roy Goldman. Roy does not typically have a lot of speaking parts. I can think of maybe 4 or 5 times in the entire series that he speaks. He weirdly though, and this is why I wanted to point out, IMDb credits him with all 251 episodes of MASH. He is not in all the 251 episodes. They credit him for being a stand-in actor. Do you know what that entails, Ethan?
I mean, I could make a guess from the title.
Make a guess.
You are sort of the on-call extra. If they need you anywhere for any actor that can't make it, you're just sort of there.
Yes and no.
Okay.
He definitely is the background soldier extra face actor. But that means, so you have the shooting day where the actual scenes are being put on film, right? That's when all the actors are available at the same time. But for rehearsals, you might have if it's a back and forth AB dialogue shot between, say, Henry Blake and Radar, if McLean Stevenson's there that day, they need someone to read for Radar. i.e., Roy
Oh,
Goldman.
okay. Okay, that
Uh,
yeah.
he is credited with being a stand-in during rehearsals for all episodes of MASH. So even though we only see him on screen in the background and he barely speaks, he was a poignant cog in the machine that made MASH happen. So, shout out to Roy Goldman.
Thank you, Roy
He
Goldman.
also he also did that job in several stage productions or film adaptations of stage productions, where he worked among actors such as Christopher Lloyd, Mel Brooks. Uh, he was
Damn!
he was Hitler in To Be or Not to Be, a 1983 film adaptation of a stage play about Polish Jews escaping the Holocaust.
Was that
Uh,
also a Mel Brooks, production?
Mel Brooks is the lead actor in so man, dude, there was so much more Mel Brooks than I was ready for in this but yeah, so in that he acted alongside he's not in the main list of actors for on IMDb, so apparently Hitler is not a big role in this play. But yeah, Mel Brooks, Anne Bancroft, Christopher Lloyd, Earl Bowen, like some big names in acting. Christopher Lloyd in particular surprised me. Uh, I doubt anyone listening to our podcast does not recognize Christopher Lloyd's name, but if you need help, Uncle Fester from Addams Family, Doc Brown, uh, yeah, all one person that wasn't sure about that. There you go.
Marty! Marty!
Oh,
What?
Jesus. So yeah, that's Roy Goldman. Roy Goldman, and here's what I love about Roy and Dennis and all the other extras, including as we get later in the oh my god, that absolutely is Roy Goldman as Hitler in the little IMDb trailer for To Be or Not to Be. Crazy. Um I love that they use the same extras throughout the entire run of the show because subconsciously, and I hope you'll pick up on this, Ethan, by the time you get to the finale, subconsciously, even though they didn't have speaking roles, you have seen these people for the last 11 years. And like, even though you don't know them, you feel like you do because they've been part of the fabric of the show. And it's done really, really well. Uh again, not intentional. I mean, they are just extras, but the fact that they stuck with a lot of the same extras helps when you get to, especially toward the end of the series. But yeah, Roy and Dennis, we love Roy and Dennis.
We do.
Uh, Hawkeye gives the orders: be brave, be loyal, be true. Good night, guards, sleep well. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I heard myself for a second and it scared me. Um,
Whoa. Oh,
I know
no.
it. Yeah, I can't hear myself anymore, so we're good. Um, Hawkeye collapses on the cot that's in Henry's office for some reason.
It's Henry
Um,
Blake. Of course there's a cot in his office. Are you kidding me?
fair. Um, he attempts to go to sleep, but radar comes in saying that there is a local indigenous personnel requesting medical treatment. Kim Luck, age 42, 5'6", occupation farmer. This is a gentleman by the name of Tad Horino. This is his first of only a few mashes. I believe the first of an entire 2 mashes for this gentleman. But I pointed him out because he has quite the IMDb presence. Uh, are you familiar with the Bill and Ted movies?
Of course.
Well, Mr. Oh god, my notes. Mr. Harino here is Confucius from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Okay.
He is also one of the masters in Kung Pao Enter the Fist, which is, if you have not seen Kung Pao Enter the Fist, Ethan, have you seen Kung Pao Enter the Fist?
I don't think I have, but with that name,
It
I
is
know what I'm doing with the rest of my night.
it is it is a like you know how the scary movies are satire of horror?
Yeah.
Kung Pao is that, but for kung fu movies from like the 80s.
Oh, I love it.
Case in point, the name of the character he plays in Kung Pao Enter the Fist is Chew Fat Lip. Uh, which sounds, even saying it makes me sound terrible. But yeah. Uh, so Hawkeye gives Radar permission to guide him to the exam room to get his axe wound treated. And never a dull moment at the MASH unit. Someone's laying on the horde out front. And who else but our favorite Army intelligence officer, Colonel Sam Flagg. Ed Winters making his third appearance on MASH. We love him to death.
I
You
can't
didn't
tell
think
you
you didn't think we were
how
getting Colonel Flagg so soon again, did you?
it kicked me like a fucking mule, like just out of nowhere.
Hit it again, Sergeant. So Hawkeye goes out to confront Flag, see what he wants. Flag does not remember him, and this is much more the Flag we're gonna get for the rest of the series. The bullying swagger, but he clearly has no idea what's going on. I know you, don't I? Of course you know me, Olivia de Havilland. Which, Olivia de Havilland was a wonderful actress. Are you familiar, Ethan?
Nope.
Oh, audience, be nice to him.
Hold on.
Olivia de Havilland made Marion from the original 1938 Robin Hood. Um,
Oh.
Mulaney Hamilton from Gone with the Wind. Uh,
Oh.
Santa Fe Trail, Strawberry Blonde. Big screen actor in the late black and white era and 40s and 40s through 60s. Lots of, again, forgive me, audience, lots of movies I don't 100% recognize, but she is just a star of the screen. Very, very attractive woman. Both as a young lady, and I will say she still had that class up until she passed in 2020. She very much still carried herself with that old Hollywood style. Uh, my mom was very sad when she passed away. Gone with the Wind being one of her favorite movies.
Damn,
But
she lived a good fucking life though. 104 years and died in Paris. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
yeah, she was born. I didn't know this. She was born in, I believe, Tokyo.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing on the Wikipedia. I'm looking at her other movies because I feel like an asshole for not realizing that she was,
And
Gone
audience,
with the Wind.
I've said this before on the show. There's so much media to consume, both in the modern day and from the past. Forgive us for not knowing all of Olivia de Havilland's movies, for God's sake. We try. We do the best we can. My parents try. I know who Jimmy Buffett, Frank Sinatra are. Like, I can quote The Godfather. I can quote Some Like It Hot. Throw us a bone. Like, we're trying. So, so again, more evidence for anyone trying to put together the MASH timeline. He mentions that 4 or 5 months ago, here on an investigation. Right, we still have one of your hidden mics in our latrine. We thought we'd make an album for you. Uh,
I do some of my best singing in the bathroom. I don't know about you.
Jesus. There is a wounded Korean that Colonel Flagg brought in that, surprise, surprise, he's the one who shot him. He would like the Korean patched up so he can take him to Seoul and try him for espionage. And Hawkeye kind of brushes him off, says, "All right, we'll treat his wound, whatever. I'm ignoring you because you're goofy." We then go back to the swamp. We meet yet another extra who we will see regularly, and we have seen. Do you recognize the tailor?
Hold on, let me get back to that scene. Is that
That's Whiplash Wang, baby. Jerry Fujikawa back again.
Oh no.
Yep, Jerry Fujikawa in his third MASH appearance as the tailor, Mr. Yu, measuring Trapper for a new suit. Um, I love what Hawk says. Mr. Yu the tailor, Captain Pierce, honored sir. May your needle be true and your flies always straight.
New headcanon, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Whiplash Wang is actually a plant from Colonel Flag because they always
Oh
come to
god.
camp at the same time.
Oh no! It's funny you should say that because there is a great episode. Is it Jerry Fujikawa? Hang on. Yeah, it is. It is Jerry Fujikawa. There is an episode in season 7 that you unintentionally may have alluded to just now that is one of the funniest Colonel Flag moments. And yes, Jerry Fujikawa is involved. So
Yes.
so don't worry, Ethan. We just have to wait 4 more years to figure it out.
Four
Um,
more years. Four
whoa, whoa,
more
whoa, whoa, whoa,
years.
whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down there, bud.
Oh.
So $12. He's getting a full new suit. Uh, there's nothing wrong with a double-breasted Kleenex. Oh yes, this should bag up nicely. Okay. As we are hearing that Hawkeye is telling Trapper about Colonel Flag, we see the two sons of Mr. Yu, Marshall and Elroy, clearing out the swamp of any valuables. Uh Hawkeye says they were here a couple months ago. They stole a 20-pound ham in the refrigerator it was stored in. So Hawkeye has them clear out their pockets. Mr. Yu seems unaffected by the fact that his sons are committing petty theft and grand larceny right in front of him. And Turban Guy is back. He was in the lineup behind Klinger, but he is also wandering around camp. Mysterious yellow turban guy from The General Flipped at Dawn. Just kind of standing in the intersection. Just kind of standing there.
Well, where else are you supposed to stand? There's a perfectly good intersection right there. What? I'm starting to think that you're just judgmental for the sake of being judgmental.
Yeah, probably. Hawkeye, and I'm now just realizing that this is all continuous. Like literally, Hawkeye got the gun or got the officer of the day equipment, walked into the office, released the guards, checked in Kim Luck, saw Colonel Flag, went over and talked to Trapper, walked back across the compound, and now he has to deal with Sister Klinger trying to sneak out of camp. Uh he was just out for a walk looking for an all-night novena. He's trying to get to Seoul for a few days. Hawkeye doesn't want him leaving on his watch. Quote, while officer of the day, Captain Pierce did allow Harry Nunn to desert. I love slip into something secular and stay put. By the way, Klinger, love your beads. The way Jamie Farr reacts to that line, the little smile he gives, I know the various MASH podcasts, specifically Rob Kelly over at Mashcast, say this vehemently. MASH was always scripted. They never went off script. But my God, that last little line feels like ad lib by Alan Alda. Like, oh, and Klinger, and Jamie Farr turns around, love your beads. And Jamie Farr slips a little and laughs. I want to believe it's ad libbed. I know it's not. Let me have this audience moving on. Hawkeye goes straight from that to seeing once again Marshall and Elroy stealing his phone. So the most child, the most like non-innocent child answer. Someone said we could have this.
See,
Uh-huh.
it's really the perfect crime though, stealing a phone. How will they ever call the police about it?
Jesus Christ. So Hawkeye stops them from stealing the phone, and the hits just keep on coming. We get our second Kim Luck of the day. And Ethan, with your permission again, I would like to open yet another IMDb page.
Oh boy.
You're gonna love this, Ethan. This
Yeah.
is Richard Lee Sung, the self-proclaimed sex symbol of Chinatown.
Yep. No, I agree with that. It's not proclaimed. I'm proclaiming it. He is the sex symbol of Chinatown. Yep.
Let me tell you. So I just learned all this about this man. He's going to be a semi-regular recurring Korean civilian in a couple different. He theoretically some episodes he's the same Korean civilian, but others he's not. He's one of the Asian American extras. He has some very iconic, including in this episode. Um, this is me. He has some great moments in the show. This is first of 11 mashes. Um, let me read you a little bit from his mini bio because I did not know some of this about this man, and I wish I could have met him because he seems fascinating. The self-proclaimed sex symbol of Chinatown, born in El Paso, Texas in 1930, moved to Los Angeles in his early childhood, served in the United States Marine Corps during the Korean War, and earned the Purple Heart as a survivor of the Battle of the Chosin Reservoir. Are you familiar with the Battle of the Chosin Reservoir, Ethan?
It sounds familiar, but it only sounds familiar. I'm hoping you'll educate me.
This is shortly after the Chinese got into the war and came flooding across the border. They encircled a group of NATO, army of NATO troops in the Chosin Basin, and the Allied troops fought a delaying action while they evacuated out of the port. The survivors of that battle are known as the Chosin Few and are recognized in the Korean War much the same way Pearl Harbor survivors are recognized from World War II. There's a symbol, I can't remember the name of it, but it's you'll see you could have it was possible to have seen veterans of the Korean War going around with hats that said survivor of the Battle of the Chosin Reservoir, and it was a big deal. Like they escaped the encirclement. So did not know that about Mr. Lee Sung. The sex symbol of Chinatown and American badass, apparently.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd say he's earned that rank.
but wait, there's more.
How?
Um, Richard Lee Sung was a popular bartender at Tang's and General Lee's in LA's Chinatown and regularly entertained patrons with, quote, hair jokes and singing popular songs such as Grenada, Getting to Know You, and The Fortune Cookie Man, sung to the melody of The Candy Man. Curly, as he preferred to be called, also sang the most famous, quote, Chinese, quote, love song ever written, Solamente una vez in perfect Spanish. Always using his trademark bald head, large smile, and robust laugh, Curly was a memorable figure in LA's Chinatown during its heyday. As an actor, he studied under and credits Mako and Kathleen Freeman as his lifelong mentors and greatest influences on his career. Uh, he can be heard on numerous commercials and voiceovers. Roles include some of the most popular characters on TV shows such as MASH, Happy Days, What's Happening, Hardy Boys, The Incredible Hulk, and played an Asian version of Ed McMahon on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. His stage credits include productions with the East West Players, Pacific Overtures, and the Flower Drums Song, and he is also modeled for print ads in US and Asia. Unfortunately, he passed way back in just not too long ago, August of 2021. I did not know any of that about this gentleman. He has some of my favorite lines spoken by the Korean extras in all of the show that we will get to in later episodes. But if you're sitting at home and have watched Match before and did not know any of that about Richard Lee Sung, now you do. He is fantastic. I love him so much. God bless Richard Lee Sung. But so yeah, Radar points out that this gentleman is also Kim Luck, which Hawkeye finds strange, and Radar explains sometimes it's like that. Clearly, they're swapping an ID card around. Hawkeye asks, "Can you identify yourself?" And without missing a beat, he looks straight at the camera, smiles big, and goes, "This is me."
I'm
Which
I'm de- I'm doing that the next time I go through the TSA.
Can you identify yourself? This is me. I am Groot. Now I'm just thinking of the scene where Groot meets Captain America for the first time. I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers. Oh my god. So Hawkeye accepts that this is just part of the business and lets Radar take Kim Luck 2, Electric Boogaloo, back to get treated. Trapper is scrubbing up to perform surgery. And again, this is all this is happening in real time because Hawkeye just walked from the office with Kim Luck 2 because he heard, no, he hears Trapper later yelling at Fleck. But he assumedly walked from the office to pre-op to talk to Trapper. So again, this is all real time. The last, what are we at? Like 5 minutes. The last 10 minutes are happening in real time at the unit, which is great. We then learn that the reason that Colonel Flag is so eager to get the kid patched up is so he can get him to Seoul to execute him, which is insane. Um,
It sounds like the kind of thing I would expect out of an army intelligence man, though.
so we cut to commercial break. We come back. Hawkeye is on the phone with a gentleman asking for an infantry charge, which he cannot give them because they are only doctors. And I love the implication of this scene is that Hawkeye just actively hung up the phone on someone under fire in a combat zone, just casually, like, we can't give you an infantry charge. We're doctors. Hang up. Like, something about that is funny as hell to me. Hawkeye is so unperturbed, but he has to be because once again, the guards come into the office with yet another glamorous outfit by Klinger. What did he try this time? Pretending to be a business girl. Klinger. Klinger, where did your mother and I go wrong? That is quite. Can we. Again, I have to do something with Klinger's outfits for merch, but what an outfit. The man has a sense of style. You cannot fault him there. He's got the feather, he's got the big earrings, he's got the flower, he's got is that a coat? Yeah, it has sleeves, so it's a coat. The giant amethyst pink earring that I'm only just now noticing. Oh, sweet merciful Christ. Oh, Klinger. We cut and see that Trapper has gotten the bullet out of the Korean patient. Uh, it is later in the evening, and Hawkeye is attempting to rest and recreate in the office while drinking some alcohol of unknown type. This scene is typically cut in syndication, but Radar is. I forget sometimes that Radar just lives in the front office, which, no thank you. I could not imagine being like Camp Winton's business manager and living like in that front camp director office area, just where God and everyone can bother you. Uh, we see that Radar tucks in his teddy bear, Tiger. Uh, I'll point it out because someone will. There is discontinuity here. Radar is shirtless in one shot, has sleeves on when he tucks the bear in, and then is shirtless again. Deus Ex Radar, do not question his power, or he shall destroy you. Radar has this whole thing where he doesn't like Hawkeye watching him undress, which fair. But he also mentions, and this is the first mention we get of Radar has a brother, an older brother who is 4F and bags groceries at a grocery store. Allegedly, the bear belonged to him. So, yeah,
Aw.
yeah. The next line, the Hawkeye says, there's numerous bloopers of Alan Alda messing this line up that you can find on YouTube. Well, they also serve who stand and stuff. There's a couple good there's not many blooper outtakes from MASH considering how long the show ran. The ratio of episodes put out to bloopers available on the internet seems askew, but that is one you can find is him messing that lineup over and over again.
I'm glad to hear that.
Um, Radar argues that since Hawkeye's a doctor, he's seen he doesn't need to see any more than he's already seen and should give Radar his privacy. Uh, Hawkeye responds with, "Oh, I love it when you get mad," and those little wisps of steam come out of your ears, causing Radar to slam the door, turn around, and realize there's a Korean lady in his living space, which, again, God bless Radar for doing his job, because I would absolutely kill someone if I didn't have privacy. Just no thank you. She is yet another Kim Luck, has number one pain in her abdomen. Uh, and as Radar's taking her to get treated, we get the another confrontation with Colonel Flag. He wants to take his patient now. Trapper and Hawkeye are able to stall because the patient is unconscious, and it would be medically unsound to release a patient in that condition to leave the hospital. So they are able to pull one over on Flag temporarily for now. Hang on, hold. We then learn that Radar is panicking because in the very brief time that he left to help Kim Luck 3, his teddy bear has gone missing. Very clearly, I don't think it takes much of a genius to figure out who took it, considering we've been seeing Marshall and Elroy try to take everything but the kitchen sink this episode. And Hawkeye calls him out for that in the mess tent. And that's it. We don't get a resolution. We don't actually know if we know at the end of the episode, but he never actually proves that he has Radar's bear, does he?
It just sort of comes back.
It
I
just sort of
thought I
comes
might have
back.
missed something I was going to ask you, but it seems that I didn't.
Yeah, no.
But you know what? Tiger is back, and that's really what matters at the end of the day.
So we're getting to the crescendo of the Flag storyline here. Flag went and found Burns, and unsurprisingly, also found Major Houlihan. I love how that's just implied. Burns and more Houlihan, explain that you must hand over the patient to, or explains that they've just been informed that you refuse to hand over the patient to Colonel Flag. And she goes on this whole tirade, and I love this little thing that Hawkeye does, and I try to do it every once in a while when the opportunity arises. Meanwhile, Aunt Martha, having taken a tramp in the woods, is lying in a ditch at the edge of town. So great. This is one of those things my dad will do that too, and he insists he doesn't watch. He's seen MASH, but he doesn't watch it religiously, and yet he quotes a lot from this show, like a lot from this show, more than I think he does or he realizes. The majors and the captains go back and forth about who has the right to do what and who uh has the authority here. Colonel Flag is explaining to Major Burns that he needs to lean on him. And I love Ed Winters in this scene. You can watch him get steadily more frustrated. Like, you can see that he's just trying to let it play out. He's just leaning against the coffee pot, just like, for fuck's sake, just release the fucking prisoner. Release the fucking prisoner. And finally, you see him kind of turn his head when Margaret says, Major, I just thought of something. You're a doctor. You can release the patient. You see Ed Winter's head kind of come up and like, oh, thank God we can get this over with. And then Frank realizes, well, actually, I need two doctors' signatures. And that's when Flag is like, for fuck's sake, fine, I'm done. He gets his gun out and demands his prisoner. And I love if you watch Margaret, she's like, oh my. And this is the first sense we get that Flag's maybe a little like he was a little weird in smattering of intelligence, but this is borderline like concerning behavior where he's like cradling the 1911 in two hands.
No, whoa,
Uh,
whoa, whoa, whoa! You listen here. cradling a 1911 in both hands is just proper care of
Well,
such a
yes, but
beautiful piece of
he's
machinery and
stroking
art.
it he's stroking it the same way Doctor Evil strokes a cat when he's making an evil plan. That's my boy in there, and he's mine, and I will take him. It's like,
I've been
uh,
stroking my 1911 this whole time
oh boy,
and thinking of what soliloquies I might come up with and what I might do to the prisoners in my care after I shot them in the back.
Jesus Christ!
Because you
All
see,
right, there goes any hopes of a fan meetup in the future. Fucking crazy psychopath. Uh, so Hawkeye and Trapper break, and they say, "Fine, Flag, you can have your prisoner," but one last little bit of subterfuge. It's not the prisoner they sneak onto the ambulance. It's Klinger because Hawkeye, quote, promised him time in Seoul. So it all worked out. At the end of the episode, Radar is taking notes from Hawkeye on what happened during his watch. He is officially no longer Officer of the Day. He is explaining that the Korean prisoner is being treated. We examined 5 Kim Lucks, a new Kim Luck record. Property of O'Reilly, Private O'Reilly, or Corporal O'Reilly, sorry. Corporal O'Reilly returned. Father and Teddy Bear doing nicely. And in one of the most iconic Trapper John moments, he pokes his head in the office and asks, "Do you want to see the best pinstripe suit of all time?" And he steps in a horizontal pinstripe suit, which for the time period is so not how a pinstripe suit is supposed to be tailored. Is
I'm
supposed to be
sorry,
vertical
it
stripes.
still isn't. It still isn't. Why? Don't qualify it with for the
Well,
time
hang
period.
on. It's more common nowadays. I believe the first.
Bullshit.
Listen, I will say this though. Trapper makes that suit look really fucking good. I
That well, duh. It's Trapper John
I don't know
McIntyre.
if it's he's got like the cream white shirt, the orange tie, the brown suit with the gold stripe. Like it looks off, but it doesn't look bad.
Well, here's the thing.
He's kind of giving off Sonny Corleone vibes there. Not gonna lie.
Here's the thing. Here in the real world, outside of the MASH universe, there is an extraordinarily talented tailor. I mean, clearly, because that
Oh
is a
yeah,
very nicely, very well fitted
it
suit
fits. Oh, that is a very well fitted suit.
who is going against every instinct that they have in their body and making a horizontal pinstripe suit for this fucking TV show. Can you imagine what was going through their mind doing this? The amount of rage that their work
I love
was
that when
going
you
through,
Google search images for horizontal pinstripe suit, Trapper John in that suit is the first image that comes up.
as it
Uh,
should be.
there are horizontal pinstripe suits. They are a thing that exists. They are very uncommon because they look silly, but they do exist. So here's the question I've always wondered, and I've yet to been able to find a satisfactory answer to. Where the fuck is that suit? There is no earthly way that the props department or the producers or Wayne Rogers himself let them throw that suit away.
It's in the
Where
Smithsonian.
is it?
I no, I just pulled that out of my ass. But wouldn't that be great?
I I did a quick Google search for this and I did not find an answer I was happy with. Audience, all 6 of you, help. Where is this suit? I need to know that it is safe. That is insane. I'd even be happy with knowing where the tie is, but yeah, that the horizontal pinstripe suit is one of my favorite visual gags of the entire series. It is so great. And the seriousness with which Trapper slash Wayne Rogers is showing it off is iconic. It's wonderful. And Alan Alda, I've said this before, Alan Alda's laughter is infectious. I
Yeah.
love Alan Alda's laugh because
Yeah.
even there, right, even if that's like the second or third take, that is genuine belly laughter from Alan Alda. That is unironically the funniest thing he has seen that day is Wayne Rogers in that suit. And with that, we are at the end of Officer of the Day. Did not take us as long as I thought it was going to. The last third of the episode goes very quick. It was very front loaded with all the guest actors. No McLean Stevenson in this episode, obviously because he is away. Uh, Colonel Blake is away, but yeah, that is Officer of the Day. Ethan, we talked a lot. What are your thoughts on this episode?
It is okay. So, sort of before we segue into that, this is the first episode I noticed that the laugh track is gone.
Is there no laugh track?
Yeah, yeah, I am about positive because there's scenes where there would have been. It's startlingly absent. I don't know if they this is the first episode. I doubt it's the first episode where they don't have one, but it's the first episode I noticed it.
Okay, so that must be a setting in Hulu because there's a laugh track on mine.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
I'm not.
I
I'm not on Hulu. I'm doing this
mm,
illegally.
I'm wondering so here's the thing. I know that there are on the DVDs, some of the DVDs you can select laugh track on and off. So I'm wondering if the source with which you have uh uh acquired it is the version with no laugh track. Because I'm checking now, I have only one audio track, and it's track one English. So whoever, uh, however, the versions I'm watching have the laugh track. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Um, so yes, I think the laugh track is fairly consistent up through about season 4 or 5, and then it starts to die off pretty heavily. But I think for season 3, there for sure would have been a laugh track. But I think in the more modern ways you can view the show, you can have the option to turn it off. But that being the case, did it make a huge difference to you, one way or the other?
No, it didn't. It just sort of was. I just noticed it and it was like, huh. It didn't make a difference. It didn't make it any less funny. It might have made it more fun. Still.
Mhm. Mhm. I'll be honest, I don't really notice the laugh track on or off one way or the other. I've seen the show so many times. I know where I laugh. Or subconsciously I know where the laugh tracks are and just have kind of tuned them out if they're there. But yeah, this episode surprised me. I knew this episode existed. It's not one that like, oh yeah, this is an episode that we're gonna watch. I forgot just how much happens in this episode, how many little character moments we get with both the extras and particularly Klinger. Klinger's pretty prominent in this episode. And the of course Hawkeye's I won't carry a gun soliloquy. So yeah, big, very interesting episode. Very well done episode, I would say. I think the writing is fantastic. So, with that being said, Ethan,
Hmm.
what would you rate Officer of the Day?
I really liked this episode. I see why Jamie Farr it was Jamie Farr that has it as one of his two favorites.
Yep,
Um, I'm right at 4.75. I think
4.75.
4.75. Dang good episode. I'd watch it again. Just I don't know how to elaborate on it more because we went on so many tangents. It's just a good episode.
Mhm. Mhm. I think it's very similar to me as Deal Me Out and Chief Surgeon Who Are. They're these things are happening in camp and you're getting to see the goofiness of the doctors and the situations they're in. I don't know, now that I've said that, I don't know if I can give it the same rating, which would be a 5. I gave both those episodes 5, but it is a very close contender. I think I'm gonna go right along with you. I'm gonna give it a 4.8. It is a really, really, really good episode. It is a good I think a couple people said this would be a contender for a first time so one that someone who has never seen MASH can sit down and kinda get the vibe of. But yeah, I am up there with you. This is a fantastic episode, and just looking at the audience ratings, a lot of the audience, gave it a 5, which I don't disagree with. I think high scores for this episode are absolutely warranted. But with that being said, Ethan, let's pop
Yes.
on over to the Patreon and see what the audience had to say. I hinted at it earlier. We have a brand new member of the Patreon, Ethan.
Fuck yeah.
In fact, we might have actually, let me check. We might have two since last we recorded because it has been a hot minute. Um, yes, I do believe we have two. Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, because it has been a second. So we have shoot, we have Sergeant Dean Bear, and we have another person here, but I need to double check because they sent us a message. They signed up with the wrong name and they can't change it. Captain, our first captain, Captain Melody. So those are our two newest Patreon supporters. So thank you both for joining. Hopefully we provide some value to you for the fabulous support you've given us. With that being said, let's get into what some people have. Actually, no. While I have the list up, so I don't have to go back to it, I'm just going to shout out the rest of our Patreon supporters. So, Private Stuart Boyles, Private Sarah McIntosh, Corporal J Temple, Corporal Jared Gallagher, Corporal Derek B, Sergeant Timothy Burleson, Sergeant Louise Black, Sergeant Dean Bear, Lieutenant Mike Jameson, Lieutenant Leanne, Lieutenant Brad Ryder, Lieutenant Bill Pauley, and Captain Melody. Thank you all for your fabulous support. Ethan is in shocked silence.
I I
That
I
is
just I don't understand it. I don't understand this.
You're loved, you fool.
Why? 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 What is wrong with you people? Dude, what is wrong with you?
So, for Officer of the Day, Brad Ryder says an easy 5 out of 5 for him. A hilarious episode with a fun story. Not the last time we see Hawk run things at camp, but a much more fun time was had here. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It also has one of my favorite deliveries ever. This is me, said by one of the many Kim Lux. Bill says, great episode with excellent writing. One of my favorite episodes of the early seasons. Between the Kim Lux, Klinger's attempt to leave, Frank's lack of intelligence, and of course, Flag in rare form, the episode has it all. 5 out of 5. Dean Bear says, one of the best episodes of season 3, and there were a lot of them. Any episode with Colonel Flag is a bell ringer, but this one epitomized his CIA, crazy in the army tactics. 5 out of 5. Mike says this is the debut of Jeff Maxwell, credited debut, and Richard Lee Sung. Just for that, this episode should be a 5 out of 5. Absolute tour de force, not only for Alan Alda, but for the entire cast, sans McLean. This episode's highlight exactly what MASH wanted to be and could be in the early seasons. An anti-establishment sitcom that could be funny, subversive, poignant, and rebellious. Mission hilariously accomplished in this episode. I agree. This is probably the first 3 seasons. I'm not going to call it the magnum opus, but this is probably tonally, comedy-wise, and anti-establishment-wise, like Mike Jameson said, the clearest tone that we've gotten from MASH and what it wanted to be, especially in these early seasons. The magnum opus for this season, we have yet to see, I don't think, but that is a discussion for the future. Quickly hopping over and skimming a few of the many Twitter posts that were shared. Oh, hang on. The internet is amazing and always works and never doesn't do what I want it to. It's perfect. It's wonderful. Bella Sister says 4.75, one of her favorites. Many great quotes and scenes. The blooper reel where Radar changes clothes in front of Hawkeye is my absolute favorite. Can't watch this episode without also watching that clip. I'll have to find it and post it for everyone if you haven't seen it. 4.5 from Chief Smash. Quotable. Sorry, weird noise in the shop. Stand by. Well, I'm not dead, so we're fine. 4.5 from Chief Smash. Very funny and quotable season 3 episode. Great overview of the first 3 seasons cast. We inch ever closer to the number 1 in all of MASH. I wonder what episode that could be, Chief Smash. 4.25. A lot of really memorable parts in this episode from Donut Eater. Starting out with a bang. Haha, bang, cannon. Haha, get it. Kim Luck, Klinger's escape, and Colonel Flag. Yeah, lots of positive comments. And again, everyone who commented on Twitter, I can't read every comment or we'd be here for an hour and a half. But thank you all for sharing your thoughts. With that, that is the end of our discussion for Officer of the Day. Our next episode is, let's see if I can remember it off the top of my head. It's not OR. There's one between that and OR. Iron Guts Kelly. Oh dear. Oh my.
I
So
don't
yeah,
know what it's going to be at all. I'm looking forward to it. What could possibly go wrong?
yes, because you're not watching ahead. After Iron Guts Kelly, though, we get one of my favorite episodes, OR. So we will have a good time. And also, I believe, I don't want to speak incorrectly, but I believe we will have a guest for that episode who I need to reach out to and confirm that they are going to be available. We have I spoiled this a couple episodes ago, but I will say it again. We have quite the lineup of guests for this season, so I am very excited about that. But that is for another time to discuss. Remember, if you want to reach out to us, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, email bestcareanywherepod@gmail.com, or click the link in the description of this podcast and you can shoot us a text message that we will read out on the show. As always, give us your ratings when you see the episodes go out. I know I owe the Patreon and the our podcast community as a whole a couple of clips and other things from previous episodes. I am working on it. I am a bit backlogged on the video portion of the show because I've been camping and doing Scoutmaster things. Sorry. The joys of having a good sleep schedule. I actually sleep instead of editing the podcast. And if you're interested in checking out what merch we have or what merch we will have, the link for that is also in the description below. And if you want to give us even more support than you already do, go check out the Patreon. And at the very least, share this with your friends. Get them addicted to MASH. We are not a cult. One of us. Ethan, do you have anything else you would like to add?
Nope. I'm just glad I slipped into something more secular.
Ah, yes. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will end this episode. We will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
The time has come for us to say sayonara.